Greetings, one and all. It's me, Mankey Games, and today we're back with another session of Siege of the Empire. Now, if you're watching this, you're unfortunately doing it via YouTube, as I had some technical difficulties which caused me to cancel last session, and I am actually having to local record this to put it on YouTube, so I hope everything goes alright. I know last time I had some major issues with people not being able to hear, but I did some tests. We should be good. Cross your fingers. Hopefully everybody can hear this. We unfortunately will be missing Vi today. She will not be here. She's out of town on vacation. However, Petrov is back, so it's fantastic. We're going to have our resident Russian spy slash diplomat back, so that's good. It's good times. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and unmute Discord so we can hear everybody.
Weak character becomes irrelevant.
Yeah.
And you know so as I do. This character did not become irrelevant.
Nope. But yeah, I think I have 23
Ursula
out of
got
26.
fucked.
Yeah. I have like 23 out of 26, I think. So I need the last 3.
Wow, that's a loud
But,
cat. So, hello everyone, welcome back. My apologies. Jesus, that cat. Whose cat is that?
That's fucking Jericho. Isn't that the
Oh.
one he has to take care of for like a month or 2?
His microphone is muted, so I don't think so. Anyway.
That is fine.
No, he just muted it when
Oh.
said it.
Oh, got it. Check. Tracking. Anyway, yeah, my apologies on last week, guys. Lightning struck my computer, and yeah, I decided to fry the brand new motherboard I just purchased back in February, and my power supply, which is really, really old anyway. So I had to replace the power supply, and I'm waiting on my RMA for my motherboard. But I hope everyone has had a great couple of weeks off. We'll go down the list as we normally do. Dalton, how have your 2 weeks been? Better, I hope, than the previous week?
Was it the previous week that I was kind of shitty? Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, that was fun. I mean, it's getting better. Work is becoming more shittier as time progresses. We're getting close to inventory. So, pretty much corporate is hounding us to do things by the book. And if we don't, we are pretty much going to cut half the store's hours, essentially, which is really bad for business, but corporate, because they're assholes. Anywho,
Aren't you
other than
salary
that,
now, though? So isn't that... What does that mean for you?
Okay, corporate essentially is just the higher ups. That's what
No,
we refer
I
to
said,
them
aren't
as.
you salary now? So that doesn't affect you directly, yeah?
It will, because they'll cut hours from everywhere. Period. They're money pinchers. They will, if they can cut the money, they will.
So
What-
you should look
even
at your
if you have-
contract and see if in your contract it gives you a certain amount of guaranteed hours per week. Like you will get paid this amount of hours per week per the salary contract.
I'm not full time. I'm only part time.
So you're not salary.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Then it will affect you.
Yeah, it's full
obviously.
time. Yep. And they're pretty much my upper bosses are telling me I'm not doing my job good enough, even though I am. They're just being assholes. They still have yet to pay me for the position I got 6 weeks ago. But hey, that's not my, say or anything like that. And anywho, aside from the bad news of work being shitty, because work is just shitty, I'm going to be starting my campaign, first session 0, this Sunday. And even better news, my brother has contacted me and he is interested to play D&D, and so I got him in. So I'll be playing with my brother,
Cool.
DMing him.
Is that the great news
5
you're
other people.
talking about?
Yes. I mean, my brother has been wanting to play for so long, and I've been wanting to play with my brother for so long. But with him being in the military still, it was very hard. But he's now at the point where, like, they can't send him anywhere because he's got 6 months left. of the service, and then it's just kind of like there. So
Cool.
it's great.
Jackson, how have your 2 weeks been? Have you been doing anything crazy and traveling, or drinking
Last
beers at
week-
any more bars that have chilled countertops?
Last week I went to California. That was pretty nice. Then this week I volunteered at the YMCA up in New York to help do the summer camp thing
Mm-hmm.
and like basically take care of children. I was helping out a friend, and I got a letter today from them. I'll go, thank you for coming, and everybody signed it. It was really sweet.
Aw.
Yeah, and then I found out that this bitch that dumped me during prom got pregnant by some fucking loser, and I felt so much better.
Jackson, wasn't that like 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago?
It was when I was 16, so it was 5 years ago, and it's still. Well, here's what happened. No, I want to explain myself so I don't seem like an other fucking dick.
All right.
Is that this girl like took advantage of me and said, I'll go to the prom with you if you get me some weed and some beer. And I'm like, I'll fucking do it. I'll do this. I'm gonna get laid. And back up for me back then, it was more that I was gonna lose my virginity. So I was like, yeah, I did it. A very awkward encounter with the dude in the car because he tried to sell me meth, and then he tried to sell me like sex, and I was like, no, I just want weed. And so then I got that, and then she dumped me at the prom. It was like, thanks for the stuff, shithead, and then just went on a date with her fucking boyfriend that she had not told me about to the prom.
Jackson. Jackson, let me just explain something to you. Your life is just a series of train wrecks that I think should be published in a book somewhere.
Please do. Please just put it the Times of Jackson.
I am
And
not-
that's it. That's all the title. It has to be the Times of Jackson.
I'm not a good enough writer to say that I would do it, but I'm sure someone can do it for you.
Jordan,
Well-
you don't have to. Just literally copy paste what he says out of his mouth, and it will be gold. I
Man,
guarantee.
you're gonna be that grandfather that has all of those fucking stories.
Back in my day.
Yeah, and the kids are not gonna believe you at all because they're too outlandish. But
Yeah.
you know that they all happened.
Yeah, and I've also
that's gonna
snuck
be
alcohol into my room, so I'm feeling like I'm back in high school with this news too.
It's amazing.
Oh my. That's
But
the life I needed.
Will, we need a 2-week update on the mass chaos. Has it calmed down anymore? over there?
IRL Fallout still.
Yeah, IRL Fallout.
Is he even here?
Will,
Have we lost him?
Holy shit! I just drank a 40 in like 10 minutes.
Will.
Well, are you here?
All right,
buddy?
Brian. How have your 2 weeks been, Brian?
My 2 weeks have been good. Working, moving a lot of furniture, the good stuff.
Are you moving like locations?
No, my girlfriend is moving in with me, so that's
Oh.
fun. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, about that. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Sure. I'm
Yeah.
glad I gathered the tone appropriately. It's actually been 3 weeks since we've talked to Mr. Liam. So Liam, tell us all about this cat.
You really know everything there is to know about him. He's incredibly loud all the time.
Let me read it here. A stray that my parents took in, and he's very soft and would rather die than shut up for 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's their cat.
Okay. All right. Well, that's fantastic. Besides
Yeah.
the cat, how have you been?
I've been better, but doing okay. I was horrendously ill for a week following Canada Day because I went out and interacted with other people, which is always the shut-in's mistake. Yeah, that's still him in the background.
Yep.
He's on a different floor, by the way. He's basically a living bagpipe. And
Wow, that's pretty good.
now I'm visiting my parents in Winnipeg, the lone bastion of civilization for about 1,000 kilometers in the direction in the center of Canada. Oh my god.
Do I need?
No, I'll be muting myself now.
Do we need to ship you a BB gun? Because I can probably make that happen.
No, I can't do anything to him. I would feel bad
Just give
about
him
it.
a
He has
big gun.
anxiety problems and he's been declawed.
Good lord. Well,
So, I actually have a different story if you guys want to hear it. It's about the time I convinced my family that my oldest sister was pregnant.
I think we should save it for next week, perhaps.
Mhm.
I don't want you to run out of stories. We just need to make it a
Yep.
point every week you tell a different one.
Yeah, I think a Jackson story at the very start of the session will
It's
put me in
perfect.
good spirits.
Will, can you speak now? Are you alive? Did your power get cut so that someone could salvage components from it?
But and he just, well, he said in a roll 20 that he just got out.
Hello,
So.
Will. Hello.
Maybe his internet
Well.
issues.
All right. Besides my computer being struck by lightning, I've basically been on the Pokemon Go train
We've noticed.
You shitface!
forever.
It's not officially out in Canada yet.
I know, it sucks for you guys. I'm not quite as addicted as a lot of my friends apparently, but I am certainly I'm comfortably in the mid-level Pokemon Go addiction. Incredibly though, what the hell was that? Oh, Jackson left. Incredibly though, it has been getting so much attention via streaming lately. It's actually kind of incredible. I did not think there were enough nerds that wanted to watch other nerds walk around outside the place where nerds don't like to be. I didn't know that was actually going to be a thing.
I would not have seen that coming, I have to admit.
Yeah. In fact, I was watching. Shout out to one of my favorite gamers, Tangent Gaming. If you guys know who he is, you should check out his channel. He's really cool. Tangent Gaming. He was at a theme park, not the one that I work at. Which, if I had the equipment, I would totally stream it myself. Because why not hop on the train? But he's at a theme park, and he encountered these guys who ran up and like put their phone in front of the camera and said, "We're just screaming, hit me up on the Snap." Now, I can only assume that these were high schoolers and were probably about 14 or 15. But one of the most hilarious things occurred is he said, "Oh yeah, totally. I got like 1,700 people watching me right now. What's your Snapchat?" And he put it out over the stream to what I can only assume now that guy has to delete his Snapchat history and all of his accounts, because I guarantee at least 1,000 of those people sent him dick pics. At least 1,000 people.
Oh, I would.
Yeah, that's what everybody. Everybody
Maybe
in the
that was the plan.
everybody
I am that person.
right. Everybody in the chat was just like, "Oh, you're right. Maybe that was the plan. Maybe that was the whole thing." I think though, if you saw these kids, you would understand that was not the plan at all.
We're gonna get so much pussy from streaming.
Right, yeah, it was they were insane. But it was hilarious. The other thing that literally I haven't laughed until I cried by watching a stream in a long time. I was watching It Me JP yesterday, and he was playing VR with Sir Scoots. Holy shit. I laughed until I cried. I think that VR is one of the most hilarious things to watch. Because it's normally when you're watching somebody play a video game, right? Like, you can see the skill in the game of what they're playing. But VR, if they have a camera on them, oh my god. To watch them walk around their room and just, like, flail wildly at things, it had me completely in tears. It was absolutely incredible. I suggest that everyone, if you see a VR stream, you should check it out at least once, especially if it's a caster you like. because it is one of the most hilarious things I've ever seen. It was so funny.
Should have told me about that. When was it? Yesterday or whatever?
Yeah, it was yesterday, I believe.
Man, I was free yesterday.
He almost went.
Couldn't watched it.
He almost went through a window. He almost stepped on his
Jesus.
computer. Like, oh my god, it was one of the best things ever. He was getting freaked out. At one point, the game glitched, and he had to take off his headset so he didn't puke because it was so disorienting for him. Oh man, it was great.
Oh my.
It was just a fantastic time.
And JP's not like a small guy either. He's like what?
No,
6
he's
foot tall?
yeah, he's like 6'1", like maybe 210 or in that range. He's not a small dude.
No.
But yeah, no, it was absolutely hilarious. I suggest everyone goes and sees a VR stream at least once. But yeah. Will, are you?
Yes.
Yay!
I am finally back.
All right.
Finally, we
did you
have
have
the
to-
full Altium.
Did you have to go kill the raiders that were siphoning your power grid
Yeah.
real quick?
It's
You
just
have
a small problem. No need to worry.
strap on your
I've-
power armor and go to town?
Yeah, I've gotten quite. I'm up to level 34
Right.
now,
Yeah.
so I'm doing okay.
I assume the UK mostly looks like Mad Max with rain these days.
That is exactly what the UK is.
Oh god. I promise, Will, the joke will get old eventually, but right now it is still not old.
One of my favorite characters ever will still always be Lord Humongous.
What?
The gigantic man with the midget riding on top of his shoulders. Claiming
Okay.
to be one person.
Oh, okay. I get where that was going now. I was confused for a moment.
It's what I plan to do.
I believe it. I believe every
I plan
second
to
of
be
it.
the lower half.
Phrasing. So, let's recap what happened 2 weeks ago. The videos are up on YouTube now, but it did take me a while to do that because for some reason Twitch at work will not let me will not let me highlight past broadcasts, and that's normally how I upload to YouTube. Don't know why it wasn't letting me do that, but yeah, so that was really strange. So I had to do it when I was at home, but my computer was fried, so it took me a little bit longer to get those up than I would have liked.
That's no excuse.
No, you're right. You're absolutely correct. But they are
I
up.
think being struck by lightning is a fair excuse for most things.
I mean,
Not for me.
that's probably true. But 2 weeks ago, we left off with the slaying of the River Hydra.
Oh, good, we lived.
Yeah, you did survive,
Yeah,
absolutely.
sure
In fact, it did require some. It actually, I think, importantly to the story, is Vi actually used healing magic. For the first time in her clericy, or at least on screen, she actually healed Clay, who was dead, essentially going to die very shortly. And she used healing magic to heal him, and that was kind of I think a cool moment in the session last 2 weeks ago, to see her actually, not just be the trickster, kind of chaotic character that she is. So that was really cool. Morella had a nice epic fight underwater with the Hydra, and I think I forgot to award inspiration 2 weeks ago. And I think that Vi and Morella are going to be my inspiration.
No, you did award inspiration.
Did I?
You gave it to 3 people.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I've been better about
I
remembering.
think it was to Vi,
It was-
me,
It was
someone
and me.
else.
Yeah. So I think you guys got it anyway. So you guys continued
Speaking
your
of
journey.
which,
Yes.
I put in all new spell emotes. Take a look at Eldritch Blast.
Oh,
Ah!
Oh god.
can only imagine. Anywho, you were saying, Jim.
Yes. I was saying. So. Yeah, you guys continued on your journey, and you arrived at your, at least, appropriate destination of Nuln, with some of the knowledge that you needed upon arriving. But when you got there, you guys all went to the inn and you set up shop. And then I think the rest of the follow up, the rest of the recall here is going to be from Arcadi's perspective. So Arkady, you went to the inn that everybody like agreed, like, hey, we'll stay here tonight, etc., etc. And then everybody was like, hey, I gotta go do some shopping, or I gotta go do various things. But
This can only go well.
you were pretty like worn out and tired, like from your encounter with a river hydra, which I assume is something that you haven't encountered before in your
Nope.
in your life. So you were enjoying the moment of solitude and peace and quiet in the fact that you could have a nice tall half pint of ale and kind of relax for a bit. Something you probably hadn't gotten to do for a while. And then the night slowly faded on, or I should say the day turned into dusk, which turned into evening, and you haven't seen any of your companions at all, like, the entire time. They didn't tell you what they were going to go do, but like the assumption was made that you would all meet back at the inn at some point to be like, all right, what's our plan now? Because there was like a brief discussion on the docks of like, how long should we stay in the city? Should we stay 2 days or 5 days, or what do we need to take care of here? And then basically everyone was like, oh well, we'll catch up on that later. Let's go ahead and go do our stuff and get a room and then do that. And so essentially you've been waiting for this conversation to occur. And the bar itself, the tavern that you're in, is dead completely. Like there's like 2 people in there, and one of them is the bartender.
Is the other one me?
Yeah, basically. Mm-hmm. And it's very dim, and even the bartender looks kind of forlorn a little bit. So I assume, like, during a conversation or whatever, like, you're like, what's going on? The bartender says to you, he says, oh, well, I heard there's some kind of event going on down at, what was the name of that place? I wrote it down. The Cup and the Sword, down in the lower city. And, I think that your intuition probably gets your curiosity. The Galleon and the Knoll is where you're at, by the way. And in fact, I'll just go ahead and move everybody right on over to this screen right here, so you can see what we're looking at here. So yeah, the bartender says, there appears to be some kind of event going on at the Cup and the Sword, or the Cup and Sword. And so I think after a period of time, you're like, well, screw this. Obviously, there's nothing going on here. Now I'm restless. I'm going to go ahead and head over to the Cup and the Sword. So you begin to make your journey there, and you cross the bridge, and as you approach the long pathway in this general area that leads up to it, you hear the sound of music coming from down the street, and you turn the corner and you walk, and before you stands what can only be described as the most makeshift and dirty carnival you've ever seen in your entire life. There is a mass of people simply standing in the streets. Most of them have mugs of ale. There's some people that are passed out, leaning up against buildings. It's essentially New Orleans during Mardi Gras. If that is an accurate description that you can pull from your human IRL brain, that is a good description of what's essentially going on here. There are a couple points of interest that your eyes fall upon rather quickly. You see Vi, who is standing. She's currently strapped to a large wheel that is slowly spinning. Large wooden wheel that is slowly spinning around and around. And you see Chester, who is blindfolded, firing his crossbow at her. Apparently in some type of game. And whenever he fires, you hear cheers and groans from the crowd. And so as your eyes pan over the crowd, you see standing at another table with a few burly guards and what can only be described as a cash box. You see Farron, who is taking money and dishing money out, and he's got he's scribing on a large piece of parchment what can only be assumed to be winners and losers and gambling and all of that nonsense. You see Morella, who is quite close to close to Farron, who is currently doing an arm wrestling competition, and she appears to be having a grand old time with that. And you also see Hannibal, who is probably laughing uproariously, maybe a little bit of color in his cheeks at this point, drinking with a table.
In the mask.
Yeah, exactly. Drinking with a table full of dwarves, and they're all singing rowdy and, quite frankly, very coarse songs that are not on beat nor in tune to any degree. So, Petrov, what do you do?
His mic is still muted.
Yeah, I would just. All right, sorry. I'm not sure. I quite remember where everybody is in this. Chester's currently shooting at Vi. Hannibal's getting drunk with dwarves.
Yep.
Farron
appears to be running some sort of. He's essentially what's the name of he's like a teller at a bank, right? He's a bookie. That's the word I was looking for. Yes, yeah. He's playing the part of a bookie, and also periodic hype man, as you can tell.
8-1, he misses the next shot.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
And Morella
is holding an arm wrestling competition at a nearby table.
Okay.
So,
I mean, I suppose in a way they've got everything under control.
Yeah.
In a way.
That's certainly one way of looking at it.
So you could, if Arkady has the mind to, you could attempt to evaluate the situation to find out what perhaps the direction that this may take, because you are the archetype that you are allows you some level of evaluating situations and making a call, making a decision or predicting the future of predicting certain outcomes, right?
Well, I mean, there's the base odds. Eventually, Vi's gonna get shot.
Sure.
Not sure whether Morella's eventually gonna lose an arm wrestling competition.
Yeah, we'll see about
she
that.
might win. She is pretty shredded.
I think we determined last session that Morella was essentially, she was playing until she lost one, and then she'd take a small break to recover or switch arms, and then play until she lost, and then would take a break to rest.
Yeah, I'm really not sure what to do with these people right now. I mean, priorities. Farron looks the least busy and the most employed by me, so I'm gonna go talk to him first.
Sure. So you push your way through the crowd, or
weave
I should
my
say
way between the knees.
Yeah, I was gonna say you should probably weave your way through the crowd is a better description as the 4 foot tall Arkady Petrov.
Yeah. Hopefully don't get stepped on or kicked by horses or,
I feel as though you were nimble enough to dodge most of those things.
kidnapped as a likely kidnapped by somebody looking for a hostage.
Not yet.
Of course not yet. Please let all the kidnappers be too drunk. And make my way to Farron, who has he actually got a desk set up of some kind, or is he just...
It basically looks like a table that's been drug out of the inn that it is immediately butting up against, the Cup and Sword.
Yeah, so get his attention and
Sure.
Petrov, have you come to make a bet?
No, I will trust you with financial planning in this city. Simple question, Farron. What in blazes is going on?
Shit, we didn't tell you, did we? Crap. Sorry about that.
No, I am here now.
Well, as you can see, we've got ourselves a mini carnival set up.
Yes, out of curiosity, was there carnival before you got here, or is this entrepreneurial spirit?
I think it would be Vi that you have to take hands with if you're unpleased with the.
I am not saying I am unpleased. I'm definitely not going to speak to Vi at the moment because I will undoubtedly get shot. Do you have what is exit strategy for when betting is done? Because large crowd, drunk, money, you are making yourself target. You realize?
Well, I've certainly got a few back routes planned, but no sort of plan as I say. This was Vi's master plan, so
Oh God.
I'm just being the good Samaritan, just helping a friend out. I'm not trying to swindle Vi or anything whatsoever. Not me.
Where's the wink? Where's the wink in that sentence? Just so
It's just constant winking.
Sure,
Just
yeah,
all
yeah,
through it.
yeah. I was wondering how forthcoming you were with Petrov, right? Like, verbally, you're in the clear, but how much are you letting Petrov know what your plans are? Because everybody, let me describe a little bit of metagame here. Everybody basically came into this thing with their own plans.
Yeah, I suspect.
There was no like, let's all get together and figure something out.
Yeah,
So
it's not really how we do.
Nope.
Javo Zadge. Now, right. Well, I am thinking perhaps we should. Far be it from me to impede on your use of free time. But I am thinking perhaps we should see if we can extract future Empress from crowd full of rowdy drunks.
I haven't been too pleased with some of the challenges. One even tried to set up a date with her. I wasn't too happy about that. So that's probably the best idea.
When you say not happy, are you saying not happy because of safety or not happy because you still think you have chance?
Oh, Petrov, of course I have a chance. Look at me. But
You
yes,
stay here and continue being distracting. I will see to future Empress. Try not to get stabbed. You're still useful.
Oh, thank you very much, Petrov. If you ever want to make a bet, I'll tell you which ones to bet on.
Wink.
If I ever want to make bet, I will make sure you are not in town first.
It's good. It's good.
And I'll extract myself from
Sure.
that particular knot of this chaos.
You let the hype man go back to hyping.
Yeah. I mean, we're all relaxing tonight. If he wants to relax by fleecing a crowd, I'm not going to object as long as it doesn't get him killed.
I mean, this is night one.
It's true. It's very true.
My plan.
So, Petrov, back to you. You sidle off to where
man.
exactly after that?
So, next I have to go check on Morella.
Sure. She's not very far away. She's actually within, like, ears, like, yelling distance.
Oh, I'm sure that Farron is taking bets for her as well.
Yep, that's 100% correct. Yeah, so you sidle over there, and it's probably at the point where Morella has just finished defeating another customer, and she's, like, stretching her shoulder. She's doing, like, the arm twist thing and, like, warming up her shoulder and, like, rubbing it.
Maybe I will, if the seat opposite her is free, I will hop up there so that I'm visible.
Sure. Yeah.
But make sure not to actually put my hands on the table lest she grab one and take it off.
Yeah.
Lady Fairheart, you're shaking hands with the people, I see.
Well, more than that, but have you come to shake hands with me as well, Petrov?
No, I prefer keeping hands useful. Now, you are not concerned that this is perhaps not safest place to spend evening with such exuberant crowd?
Petrov, if a river hydra can't kill me, what can a mere man do?
Well, it depends how quickly they come at you following River Hydra. But do not concern. If I am, if you wish to remain here, I am happy to stay on guard for you. Keep an eye out. Ensure that I am in position to motivate anybody from removing themselves from your presence if necessary. I understand from Farron you have had some problems already. Perhaps, out of curiosity, have you in fact shared name with surrounding crowd?
Can you repeat that for me? You kind of cut out for me.
No, sorry. Have you shared your name with the crowd, or are you a mysterious stranger?
I can't remember whether I actually shared my name.
That's up to you. I don't think that directly we've ever said it, but up to you whether or not you.
I think I would have just said Morello.
Yeah, if you haven't given your surname, I doubt it would be.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I've only given my first name.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
probably safe enough. You are undoubtedly attracting attention, though. This does not concern you.
She looks at you with a blank face. Not at all.
Not much concerns you, does it? No. I see. Well, perhaps we should agree on time when we should return to inn.
4 days' time. We've already discussed this.
I meant this evening when we should return. You intend to stay out here arm wrestling for 4 days?
If perhaps the men in this establishment wish to challenge me for that long, then yes.
I think
Though
that
I
think
they
that
will
with
run out
that
of
there's a
energy.
cheer, like, yeah, keep her around. Yeah, we'll party with her all day. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well then, perhaps I will enjoy ambience for a time. But far be it from me to interrupt your festivities. And Petrov hops off the seat to make room for whatever sad sap is about to get his arm broken by the princess next.
Right.
There's
She
been a
probably
couple that
stops
have
you
given
as
her.
you hop off, and she's like, "Understand, this is a time to relax, Petrov.
Yes.
Be moving ahead." And
Yes,
she
I
leaves
see.
off of that.
I see you are very relaxed.
I suppose so. Not many have been challenging me very hard.
I think that as you say that, she beats the next guy. Like, that was in line, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
She probably yawns as like that happens too.
Right. Yep.
I do not believe I have ever met someone with 20 strength score before.
Yeah.
Right.
There's that fourth wall. I knew to get there soon.
Yeah, I'm just gonna slide off to one side and start surveying the crowd for anyone that I think might look like they have some of their own shifty plans in mind.
Oh, okay. Roll me a perception check.
Sweet.
This can go either good or bad.
What do you mean good?
Does that go bad for me?
Of course, Jackson's worried.
13's so a 13 is enough to your trained eyes. You probably pick out there are definitely some filchers, some cut purses in the crowd. Like, they're not that skilled, but this place is rowdy enough that they can get away with it.
Right.
Besides also knowing that that Farron is up to no good, and also just inherently knowing that Chester and Vi are definitely up to no good.
I assume that already.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. That's just a given in any situation.
Yeah, they don't count.
It
The
appears
suspicious
everybody's
thing
just-
for them
just-
is that they seem to be entirely above board.
Right, yeah. Everybody appears to be having a good time. It is getting to, like, that point of the night where the drink is starting to take over more than the inhibitions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's has the potential to become a powder keg, but it is not there, and easily could just diffuse and everybody could go about their business. It's got more of a chance of dissolving amicably than turning into a thing. A couple fistfights and brawls probably will occur at some point, or have already, but probably not into the mob mentality. Most likely because you also see there are very clearly some off-duty, like, guardsmen in the crowd. In fact, one of them is probably... I think one of them at this point in time is, like, up on stage and here we'll switch over to Chester real quick. He's probably up on stage, like challenging Chester to a shooting contest. And I think that we determined also throughout our time that you had like little like targets set up like kind of all around this alley or like this road, this street. And so he probably like picks one out and like you agree to like a contest of skill. You beat him, like it's pretty easy, but the interaction is what's important. Is he gets up there and I think that he says, "You're a pretty good shot."
Oh, why, thank you, good man. Of course I am, or else I wouldn't be the marvelous Chester. Now would I?
Indeed. An interesting name, Marvelous Chester. Why do you refer to yourself like that?
How else do you refer to someone this marvelous, dear?
Yeah, I think he kind of like just shakes his head, and you guys go about the contest, and you eventually win. And he gives it like a small nod, and he says, "Well, at least there's no danger of you missing and hitting anyone."
Of course not.
He nods, and like you see him go over to the betting table probably, and probably put some money down on you making your shot, even though the odds are really like. It's starting to also trend, and Farron, you probably know this, and you'll probably have to address it at some point very soon. It's starting to trend where people are losing interest in the betting because of how you've had it set up. You've had it set up that you're going to make more. The house always wins, right? And so people are starting to like not catch on to what you're doing because we established you guys did that pretty well. But they're starting to be like, running out of money, or just like, it's not really worth it. It seems like a losing cause. Obviously, they're too good to bet against. So I think we jump over to if nobody has anything from that scene, we jump over to Hannibal. Hannibal, what are you doing?
Do you remember that Thunder Clan member I was talking to about gunpowder?
Yep.
I approach him.
Sure. Yeah. I think you've probably been drinking with him for a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm like, man, you know what I really want to do?
And remember, he was really he was getting to the drunken state.
Yeah, no, I'm going to push him over by saying, let's have a drinking challenge you.
Yeah, so he kind of like looks at you and he goes, "Hi, laddie, I'm a dwarf."
All right, well, guess what? I'm a human.
Right. Yeah, and he just kind of like raises an eyebrow and he goes, "All right, it's your funeral." And
all right. Yeah, we're going to start drinking, but I'm going to intentionally lose a couple of rounds.
Sure.
Of this, whatever we're doing. And when he gets really drunk, I'm going to be like, man, you know what I really want to do?
Sure. It's gonna take, I think that because he's a dwarf, I need you to roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Do I have advantage because I live with dwarves?
No. He's going to get drunk. This is going to determine how drunk you are when he gets drunk, right? So you're probably like above a buzz but below a drunk, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You have full, like, you're not wobbling or weaving or anything like that, but there's probably going to be some bits and pieces that you don't quite remember in the morning.
I'm like, dude, you know what I want to do?
Right, yeah, so, like, the play drunk is actually real drunk talking, right? But you still have enough cognizant ability to, like, advance your plan. And he goes,
you know
Aye.
You know that powder shit you were talking about?
Grab a broad and hold her close.
No, let's go blow shit up.
And he goes, why would I blow up the broad?
No. Let's go blow shit up. Like, let's go blow up a house.
Goes,
No. Let's go blow up a rock. Let's go mining. Let's do it.
So he goes, he's kind of like, he gives you that, like, 1,000-yard stare, and drunk, and he's, like, wobbling slightly back and forth. And he's like, you're crazy.
But you like it, don't you?
and he kind of like he like tries to get down, and I think he falls, and he like pushes himself back up, and he's like, I think that it's time to go home.
I'm like, dude, come on though. Wouldn't it be super cool if we blew stuff up? And I cast suggestion.
Ah, that's what I was waiting for. Okay, go ahead and cast a spell.
Would he have disadvantage because he's drunk?
More than likely, yes. Depends on what kind of save suggestion. It's wisdom? Yeah, for sure. The Jedi mind trick. Alright. I don't have a generic dwarf, so I'm just going to roll this manually. Roll d20. Oh, wait, I have to put disadvantage. Alright, cool. Yeah.
Yeah!
Cool, so what was your suggestion?
Dude, it'd be really cool if we could get some black powder to blow some shit up. Or not black, just some powder to blow shit up.
Right, and I think that he looks and he's like, it's dangerous, but
It is cool.
could do with a bit of fireworks.
Yeah, come on, buddy, let's go. And I grab some beers on the way out while we go get some.
Yeah, sure. So since you're scanning the crowd, I think that you see this. You see Hannibal and like another drunken dwarf like start walking off, singing shanties. Petrov. Now I don't know how much that you know about Hannibal. Did you ever express like the whole dwarven thing? I think you did last week, right? To everyone.
I said that I lived with dwarves for a while.
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
didn't really
So
say.
like it's not strange that he's been hanging out with dwarves and like hanging out with them. But it's noticeable because like you are specifically keeping an eye on everybody, right? Like
Yeah.
that was what you were doing. It's not going to require a perception check to like see him wander off with another dwarf. So
Right.
you can address that if you want, or we can move on to Farron.
I am, I think, going to check in with Morella since Hannibal seems to be sort of her attendant slash
Sure.
bro.
Right. They're
So
they're
just
buddies.
sidle up back in there. Mirella, your companion, the Hannibal, the one who is drinking with dwarves. Have you any idea what his business is tonight?
So, you come up to her, and like you see, like she's already arm wrestling someone, but
Oh, I assume
look-
you're arm wrestling two people right now.
yeah, it's essentially what's happening. And she's like, one moment, and she like beats one, and then beats the other one shortly afterwards. And she's like, "What was the question again?"
Hannibal, your friend Hannibal. He's. Are you aware of what business he may have today? He was with dwarves earlier, and they seem to be wandering off.
She kind of like watches like Hannibal like probably like leave like a little bit further, and she's just like, "No, but Hannibal is a good judge of character. I trust what he is doing." Now, and then she kind of like looks at the other men, and she's like, "Now, who's next?"
All right, Hannibal isn't on the list of people that Petrov's decided to get too invested in yet, so
Sure.
not
Yeah.
going to follow them. Although I'm probably going to regret that later.
Yeah, probably. So, Farron, how do you wish to go about addressing the fact that the money's not really coming in anymore? People have lost interest in betting. The party's not dying down, but people just either are running out of money or are not. The ones that are free with their money, like the initial like excitement has died down, and they've run through the scale of tricks maybe once or twice, so like livening it up to reinstate something is going to be bad, or is going to be hard, not bad. You could also attempt to maybe get the attention and express this to the two up on stage, but again, they are like preoccupied, right? Like you're the one that knows this, not them.
Yeah. Yeah, why not? I'm going to suddenly jump up onto the table and scream out, "Ladies and gentlemen, we shall now take a short reprieve, and I shall entertain us all with my fabulous music."
Yeah. Cool. So Chester, you're up on stage, and maybe Vi. Actually, no. Vi is totally still like doing something on stage. But you hear, Chester, you hear from right next to your ear, you hear Vi, and she goes, "What's he doing?"
I don't know.
She's clearly like not next to you, but you hear this voice as if she was standing directly next to you talking to you. She's over on the other side of the stage.
Well, she's done this with me before,
Sure.
so I wouldn't be too freaked out.
Yeah.
But not really knowing how to respond to her, I just kind of shrug and shake my head. Just,
Sure.
This could be bad.
Sure.
You
And I think
have
she
no
goes.
faith
I think
in
she
me.
goes like she looks and she's like, "Do you think something's wrong?"
No, I just think it might be dying down, and I think he's trying to change something. It's a little worrying.
She goes, "I'll have his tongue if he changes anything about the plan."
Just be prepared to run. Bye.
I mean, you'll have to cut it out, of course. I'm not going to get my hands dirty.
You know, just be prepared to run. There's a lot of people here, and they're pretty drunk.
Right, and I think with that you get no response, as she departs. And yeah, so Farron, you're going to entertain them with a song.
Yes.
Cool.
Although I don't have a song pre-planned.
It's fine.
Yes, I don't think I want to be malicious in this, because the longer this thing goes on, the more money I'm eventually going
Sure.
to be acquiring. But yeah, I think it's more like a. Would I know any kind of local songs? Like,
You're particularly usually in the outdoor, maybe from a traveler. Give me a probably history. It's probably going to be a history check.
okay.
Yeah,
Heyo.
that's insight. Close. You notice a lot about the crowd, and they're pretty drunk. But all their attention is on you.
Yes, which is.
No,
damn it.
I don't think you know any local songs. But you know, like you could easily sing like an Empire song, right? Like I'm sure there's a battle march or some,
Yeah.
some song.
Yeah, I'm mainly wanting to sing a song that I can rile the crowd up and get them singing along with me.
Sure.
Yes, I do that.
Cool. Give me a performance roll.
The beautiful Morella is by my side. The entire crowd is watching me, and
Yeah.
this is how I like it to be, because Vi and Chester aren't the center of attention anymore. So this is an inspired performance.
Cool. So you're gonna use your inspiration to gain advantage.
Which
Right. A 16 isn't bad. Like a 16's pretty good. So I think that you begin playing, and the people that know the song start to pick it up, and the people that don't, they're pretending,
sure.
and like bobbing along. And I think you spark in the crowd. You spark because the dwarves have been singing the whole time. But they pause in in respect of someone like that, someone else playing. But I think that once you finish, there's like a lot of cheering, and I think that you probably get some tips, X amount of tips that we'll determine later.
Sure.
But then I think that over on the table that Hannibal used to be sitting at, I think there's a dwarf who jumps up on the table, and he says, Aye, that was a mighty fine tune, but have you ever heard of this one? And one of his mates, standing on the ground, tosses him up, what kind of instrument? Probably...
Mitchell plays the flute.
Mitchell plays the flute. Yeah, so it's probably a flute. He catches it in his hands, and he begins, like, dancing on the table. So there's, like, a percussion element to it. And he's also going to roll a performance check to see if he outdoes you. But he gets a little bit of a boost because as he starts to play, the dwarves around the table begin to join arms, and they're like around in circles, so they have a dancing element to theirs that yours didn't really have. And it's a little bit better than yours.
That hurts deeply.
Right.
Don't stand for it.
So you're like, you can probably sum it up to like, you're not on home turf and he is, right? But he's not like he's a fair player. Definitely not a scrub. It's not his first time. And the tune is distinctly different from like the drinking songs they've been singing primarily throughout the night. It's probably a song you've never heard before, Farron, since you rolled a 4. But yeah, no, I think that the crowd, the difference in 2 points between the crowd is unnoticeable. But they probably sing a bit louder for his song because they all know it, right?
Sure, yeah.
So like your finely tuned performance abilities, you pick up on it, but nobody else in the crowd, you guys are tied in the eyes of the crowd.
Fair enough.
Which may also be unacceptable, I don't know, you can decide.
Of course, I'm supposed to be the performer, not some dwarves, but I'll let it slide.
Sure, yeah. So you do the bow politely, and the crowd is like a little more riled up now. So flashing back over to Chester, the crowd is like cheering, and there's like a lot of dancing. I don't think the attention is turned back to you, but the party is beginning again in earnest. You might have to do something in order to regain their attention. Probably something you haven't done yet, like not in the normal routine of tricks, if there's anything your creative mind can come up with.
I would actually think at this point it would be time for Chester to get off the stage and start to mingle with the crowd.
Sure, yeah, you're gonna go out and shake hands and kiss babies.
Of course.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, so I think that the party... I think the party takes on a different air at that point, right? Like, previously, it was like everybody watching the carnivals and there was a lot of gambling going on, but now it's actually a little more of a celebratory event. No one knows what they're celebrating, probably ale and fine women, but, or men, if that's your preference. But nobody really knows, but it's definitely changed, and I think Arcadi, you picked this up too, like, that element of like, there's a lot of money changing hands and this could go poorly is like gone now. Like, everybody's forgotten about like all the money they lost earlier, or anything like that. If somebody accidentally punched them, you probably see 2 guys that were in a bar fight earlier. They have like blackened eyes and they're like hugging each other and swaying back and forth and singing now. That air of uncertainty among the crowd is gone at this point.
I've always said a battle of the bands could fix all the world's problems.
It definitely could. Definitely could. Cool. So, Chester, while you're mingling with the crowd, is there anything that you're doing specifically, or like just, getting your name out there, I guess?
I want to go and see if I can go and find Morella, because I haven't seen her this whole time.
Sure, yeah, you've been up on stage performing.
And I wouldn't know she's there, so I want to see what she's gotten herself into. Yeah,
you guys essentially hired her to do security, right? Like, to be the muscle. No one is infinitely has infinite amount of stamina. So, Morella,
Of course not.
it's probably about the time where you're like, Jesus, I cannot arm wrestle anymore. Like, I've beaten like 100 people. Like, this is... It's getting to the point where like where usually you'd beat one or like maybe like 4 or 5 people and then lose one, it's now like one person and then you'll lose one. Like it's slowly creeping to the 50% mark of you losing.
Tiny second wind.
Yeah, right, exactly. Literally the ability second wind. So yeah, so maybe you're on like an extended break or whatever, and maybe actually 2 other people, like somebody's like taken your place, like the last person that beat you, like when you're like, okay, I'm gonna take a break, he slid over and now he's beating people, and yeah, so I think Chester finds you, and what do you say, Chester?
I say, Morella, what have you been doing? This must have been so much fun. We've missed you up on stage.
She probably like turns around and then like raises an eyebrow and she's like, "Oh, Chester, and she kind of like looks over at like the men like arm wrestling. She's like, I suppose I've been entertaining these men with my own strength."
Phrasing.
Oh, was this what type of entertainment was this, Morella?
I was beating them.
I see. Wink, wink. He says it out loud too.
She raises an eyebrow as he says wink wink again. Do you need something of me, Chester?
No, just continue your fun, Morella. And Chester's gonna take up a seat